In this video, you will learn my top 5 tips for creating your own melodies from scratch. This is a summary of what you will learn in this video, so let's get started right now. Tip 1. Start with a chord progression. Now, if you create your chord progression first, that harmonic storyline will be your guide and foundation for coming up with new melodies. So some of my favorite ways of doing this is either to use long sustained chords, which can, for example, be ensemble strings like this, or rhythmic or comping chords, where I like to use a piano like this. And so on. You can obviously use a guitar strumming your chords or any other instrument that is great for actually creating your chord progression with. Now, if we check this little example that I composed, here the strings are actually playing the chord progression like this. A very mellow and dark sound for that chord progression, and that will of course dictate what the melody is doing, which I have written up here. So if you start with your chord progression like this, you can then start recording other parts like rhythm, comping, leading melodies and so on, that all goes hand in hand with your harmonic storyline and create something like this, for example. Tip 2. Start with rhythm and percussion. Now, when I use this method for coming up with new melodies and themes, I tend to combine percussive rhythms with melodic rhythms. So as you can see here in my project, I have one track that is simply percussive. But I also have this rhythm track, which is actually staccato strings. So if you look at this, you can actually get the harmonic storyline just from this melodic rhythm. You can see it starts here on A, goes to D, and so on. So those together sound like this. And so on. And of course, once you get this down, which is sometimes easier than creating the chord progression, because you can more or less focus on the tonal center, meaning the root note for the rhythm and the actual rhythmic pattern, then that might guide you to create your new melody. Tip 3. Sketch your melody using only piano. Piano is, in my opinion, the best instrument to sketch new ideas with for your music composition, whether that is chord progressions, melodies, themes, rhythms, comping, and so on. So what I like to do is I just use a very good piano software instrument, and then I play for melodies. I usually play the bass with my left hand, like this, in octaves, and then the melody with my right hand at the same time, because that way I actually get the harmonic storyline pretty much automatically for this. Tip 4. Sketch your melody using a solo instrument. Now, the reason why solo instruments are so amazing for sketching new melodies with is 1. They have way more expressive capability and clarity compared to a section or ensemble, and 2. They can inspire you by their tone, color, and character to create different kinds of melodies. So, for example, if you take a solo violin like this, it might inspire you to create a melody like this. whereas a solo flute can inspire you to do something completely different. Tip 5. Sing your melody using real or nonsense lyrics. So the human voice is of course the most expressive instrument in the world, and you can use this to your advantage by actually singing. I usually use nonsense lyrics like Latin type syllables like this. Torium bahilo, sinto cariolivo. I'm just randomly coming up with those syllables as I sing, because the important thing is the melodic phrasing and the rhythm, the accents, and so on. But of course, you can also use real lyrics. For example, if you write something, that can inspire you to create something for your melody. So let's say the phrase is, I love the sound of strings and brass. So that might sound like, I love the sound of strings and brass, but drums and rhythm are good too. Of course, that was nonsense lyrics in another aspect, but you get the drift here. Coming up with something using your voice to sing your melody is a great way to get started. And finally, my bonus tip for creating your melodies. Hum your melodies with total creative freedom. So this bonus tip actually ties together with singing lyrics, but if you sing, you have to think about the syllables and, the lyrics, even if they are nonsense lyrics. I find humming my melodies is the best, most creatively free way to come up with new melodies. And I recommend you try this technique not in your DAW, but actually on your smartphone with a recording app while you are on the go, because in my experience, those are the times you come up with the best melodies, themes, riffs, and musical ideas. So for example, just randomly like this. Da-da-dun-dun-da-da-dun-dun. Da-dun-dun-dun-da-da-dun-dun. That was some kind of riff I just came up with just now, and you can do the same, especially if you are on the go and use your smartphone to record those ideas that just pop up into your head. Do you want to get new and powerful sounds to use in your music? Do you want to level up your skills in music composition, production, and sound design? Then take action and check out the links and special deals in the video description.